Okay guys, it's Ange again. I am sharing part 3 of my skin cancer story. If you missed the first 2 parts, I had 2 previous videos, one on how it all started and came about, and the second one on how the surgery itself went, and then now the third one on kind of how it's gone since the surgery and what I've learned through the process. So if you didn't see the first couple videos, I am Ange. I'm sharing this on our business website, Homestead Design, just because it's kind of a platform for me to share this story that I hope will either inspire people to check things out that might be bugging them and not ignore those little things, or maybe give you a little bit of comfort if you're dealing with the same thing. So what I'm going to share now is how it went after the surgery. So I knew that I would be bandaged up for a while. What I wasn't prepared for was how long I would be bandaged up and like just how big this wound was gonna be. So the spot was the size of maybe like half of a pencil eraser, if that. Like it wasn't a big spot at all. But when it was all said and done, like the spot they took out was close to the size of a dime, and then they had to patch that with a skin graft. So it was a really nasty looking thing. If I can figure out a way to share that picture without it being like super visible and scary, maybe I will do that. I don't know if there's a way. I wouldn't want to put it on there and have someone be grossed out that didn't want to see it, but I would like to share for those that kind of want to know what they're getting into. I don't know if I can do that or not. But anyway, I didn't realize that it was going to be bigger than I thought, and a bigger deal for healing. I was thinking like a week or 2. Oh man, I don't know why I thought that. It's been 8 weeks. It's been over 8 weeks now of healing time. And a lot of people have asked, like, why don't you have to have that exposed to air? Like, isn't that what we were always told? Like, take the Band-Aid off. You have to let the air get to it to heal. No, not in this case. It needs to thoroughly heal while being covered with Vaseline so that it is never dried out, so it never gets a scab or anything like that. And I'm not sure if that's more for the purpose of the skin graft to heal really well, or if it is to avoid scarring. I'm not quite sure why that is, but anyway, it's been completely bandaged for the whole time, and twice a day I change it. And so it's really close to being healed now. But what I kind of learned from it was a few things. So first of all, I learned that if you're gonna have cancer, like skin cancer is what you want. Like it doesn't even seem, like it should be in the same category. Like there's people with some serious stuff they're dealing with, and this was so minor, like so minor. I know it could have gotten bad, it could have gotten scary, and I was very lucky to have caught it really early and gotten it taken care of and all of that, because there's really bad stuff out there. So for one, like, count my blessings, like, holy cow, this is really not a big deal in the scheme of things. Kind of slowed down the beginning of my year a little bit, but it's going to be totally fine. So I'm very lucky in that respect. Probably one of the biggest things I learned from it, I would say, and it's absolutely a blessing, is to just get over myself. I did not like the idea of having Band-Aids on my face and having to be out and about in the world. And that was not coming from a place of vanity at all. That's not me. This was me being an introvert and preferring not to be looked at. Like, I don't like attention. Like, I don't need people noticing me. So that was a really hard thing. And so it really, I think, was a good push outside my comfort zone. I've always been a little bit self-conscious and just, not completely confident and stuff. And I kind of just had to get over that. Like, you can't you can't, I can't hibernate for 8 weeks. I can't stay in my house for 8 weeks. I had to bring the kids to and from school. I had to go to their concerts. We had to go to their tournaments. We had to do all of that stuff. And from like our local community, it was like incredible support. I chose to share it on Facebook. I did a lot of thinking before I shared it. I didn't tell anybody like outside of our inner circle about this until like after the surgery. Just because I hadn't decided yet. Like I'm not one to just, get real personal with stuff or, but what I ultimately decided was that, number one, kind of what inspired me to get this checked out was hearing somebody else's story. So if I can pay that forward and help someone else, if I can be the kick in the pants that somebody needs to get something checked out for their own good, like, yeah, I would like to do that for somebody. And also because it made it easier for me to go to the school concert or to go to the basketball game or go to church after I had shared this on Facebook, so that a lot of the people there will have already seen my post explaining what I'm dealing with. So then they don't have to see me there like bandaged up and either like do a double take and look at me funny, or come up and ask, or maybe not ask and feel awkward, or any of that. Like it cleared up a lot of that from people like in our immediate world. So that was really helpful too. So I didn't have to like tell the story over and over again. But everybody was really super supportive, and I was surprised at the number of people who commented who said that they had dealt with something similar. It made me feel like, okay, this is something that a lot of people have dealt with. It's not, as uncommon as I think, or things like that. So where was I going with that? Oh, with the being self-conscious about it. It really just kind of was a big learning experience for me in to not worry about that as much. To just get on with your life because it's a little thing that really doesn't matter. And that was a good thing, a really good thing for me to learn. And to realize that this was like, we had big plans for the year. Like we just started a new business. We had all these plans that we were going to get all these things done over the winter during the more quiet season and do all this stuff. And this was like, this slowed us down a little bit. And that was okay. But what I learned is that you can stumble, or you can have something that slows you down a little bit, and then you can still pick up after that and just keep on going. You deal with it, you beat the thing, and you keep on going with it. So that was really energizing for me, especially since originally I was gonna start the year with this little goal called Fit by 40. I'm gonna be 40 in July, and I wanted to set this fitness goal for myself. I wanted like to be in the best shape of my life by the time my birthday came around, like just to feel awesome and feel strong and stuff. And this experience kind of like redefined that for me a little bit. Like, not that I don't still want to be as fit as I can be, but it's more about overall health and feeling really good about where I'm at, and some of those kinds of things. It kind of gave me a little bit of a reason to reevaluate some of that stuff, and just look at the big picture and realize like how lucky I am to have the health that I have, and to have dealt with something like this, and have it have been a fairly minor thing in the scheme of things, and just a little speed bump, and we can pick right back up with our life and with what we're doing. I was thinking there was one other thing that I was gonna share that I have learned. Oh, I know what it was. And this is a silly thing. This is only for the people who are going through the same thing. When we were dealing with the bandages at first, we could not figure out how to bandage the tip of your nose. Like, it needed to be totally covered. We didn't want air to get in the top or the bottom or the sides or anywhere. You think you could find an online tutorial for how to bandage your nose? no, like that's what I should do. But honestly, like I think we did several band-aids. Today I have just one. But I started at the bottom and kind of went like around almost. That's how you get the tip. And then over the top with one of these. And then I had to have more because the skin graft went up higher. But that's what we did, kind of like this, to kind of like go around the tip and then over the top. That was the trick. Like, I swear, such a little thing, but that was a struggle at first. Like, oh man, just getting the bandages. Oh, and if you are allergic to band-aids, or maybe you don't know you are and you find out because you're dealing with something, I have some reactions to some kinds of band-aids and I can't figure out a rhyme or reason to which ones. But what worked for me was the plain old, like, shiny plastic, like old school Band-Aid brand. I can't use those fabric ones, I can't use those stretchy ones, the bigger ones, nothing. Just these plain old regular ones are what worked for me and did not cause any irritation at all. And I have very sensitive skin. Oh, and when it comes to the sensitive skin, like I was always a sunscreen person, always, even when I was a kid, like always wear sunscreen. I'm very fair skinned. I am freckly, and always wear sunscreen. But I think the sunscreen that I was using on my face was just like a facial moisturizer that had like SPF 15 in it. Not enough, I think, for a fair skinned like Norwegian girl. Not good enough. So now I'm gonna use something better for that. So just know that you might be prone to something that you don't realize that you are. Like, it's not anything I ever thought I was gonna have to deal with, but it seemed kind of scary in the moment, but it turned out to really not be a huge deal, and it definitely was a cloud that had silver linings because it turned out to have lots of good life lessons in it, tons of great support from people that was really, really encouraging. And like I said, in the scheme of things, it could be way worse. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So there you go. Hopefully that is helpful, to have a little bit of my story, and I hope that it inspires you and is encouraging to you.